Welcome to Freedom Fridays with your host, Pete Clark, and the Whispers Guy. It's been another interesting week. It was the first full week that I've had where I didn't have any scheduled client meetings or delivery or anything scheduled in my diary other than hold it free, which felt a little bit scary to be honest again. However, I got through it, you'll be glad to know. And one thing is, I've never really appreciated what this would do. Something seemingly so, big for me, but perhaps simple, finding a ways to have Friday off, has raised all sorts of challenges and fears and stuff I'd never appreciated how much it would bring up. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the reflection and what it's bringing up for me, as well as what I'm doing on Fridays is I'm really enjoying too. So a little bit of feedback that I had was that some of you were enjoying the structure, in that it's not quite just a rambling from me, but there's 2 or 3 points that I share. And I don't want to turn it into a presentation, but if that's helpful, that's what I'll continue to do. So there's probably 3.5 things I'll share with you this week. The first one is, and this happened to my son as well. He's a manager of a fast food outlet, and they attract a younger crowd. And one of his responsibilities was to film his day, his normal day, whatever he does at home and at work, and what he does with his hobbies and his life, etc., and then put it onto Instagram, onto Instagram stories. And he was reflecting on it afterwards, and he said, he hated it. He hated it because he'd happily stand up in front of an audience and do it, but there was something about, publicly recording some of the stuff that he was doing and then posting it. And so there was kind of a kindred spirit between us, that we both felt what we're doing, albeit he was only doing one day, I'm doing it every week. We both felt that there was something in that just exposing your weakest parts and all your idiosyncrasies and imperfections was quite challenging. And what it raised for me was, this isn't about Fridays, as I said last time. It's really about fears, hopes, dreams, and concerns. What are my fears and concerns about doing this thing? What am I think I'm being exposed to? And on the other side, what are my hopes and dreams? And what's fascinating about it is, because it's public, any one of you can, contact me and say, hey Pete, you're not doing this, you're doing that, this was good, this was bad, which I quite enjoy, because I enjoy the public accountability, because I'm very happy with that. But somebody did raise something with me, and they said, I noticed that you are doing some client work, because she was part of that, on a particular Friday, just trying to keep you honest, which I thought was really great. And the distinction I made back was, it started with a sense of, how do I get Fridays off? But really, Freedom Fridays now, in a short space of time, has become more about freedom from I have to freedom to choose to. So in the past, I would have gone, well, it's a day of the week, I have to work, I have to learn more, I have to read, I have to keep prepping and designing, and I have to keep filling my sales pipeline, I have to keep designing product, I have to keep on keeping on, because that's what I have to do. And I don't mind that. There's a blessing in that. The curse was, I didn't feel like I had any choice, despite it being my own business. And so that switch from have to choose to, freedom to choose to do it, means I can comply with my sense of loyalty to clients, to say that's the only time we can do, and I'm happy with that, and take other time to fill my own cup. So that was an interesting distinction for me. It's about my fears, my hopes, my dreams and concerns, and really Freedom Fridays is a metaphor for moving from I have to I choose to, which gives me self-authorship, it gives me control, it gives me my influence over how I design my life, as opposed to, despite things happening. So that was the first thing. The second thing that I did this week that was different was, you may remember if you've listened to the other podcasts, I would try and fill my days with stuff on a Friday, and I would feel a little bit guilty about not working. This week I tried something a little bit different, and at the beginning of the week I set up ahead of time a definition of a great week. What would a really good week, what would a win week look like, so that I can look back at the end of the week, whether it's a Friday or not, and determine whether did I get some good things done, did I get what I wanted to get done. And I hear so many people, clients, colleagues, friends, talk about they've been so busy, I'm run off my feet this week, but I feel like I've got nothing done. And one of my concerns was that I would use the Friday as a day and I wouldn't really do anything. And so if I could then describe to myself what was a great week from Monday to whenever, then maybe I could be finished by Wednesday and crack on with some other stuff. Maybe I need to do some stuff on Saturday because that's really important for me setting up the next week. So that was really helpful, actually. The description and the definition for me of what a great week was. As I was going through the week, I was able to tick some of those off. And I would say I got about 80-90% of what I wanted. Of course, that then kicked in my own judgment of, well, you obviously didn't set your goals high enough, Pete, did you? Because if they were easy to achieve, you obviously you fell down a little bit. So I know I'll have that little monster playing on at me at the same time. But that was a really good win for me, just setting up a win week so that I can get to the end of it and going, minimally, I got those things done. The third thing I'll share with you is I felt really selfish, more as I got into it, in that I was using the Friday for me, and I think that's quite important. I'm always a big believer in, certainly with my family and friends, I'll look after me for you, as long as you look after you for me. So there's a responsibility and an ownership there about me being at my best for others. And definitely in the first few weeks I was doing things for myself. I would go for a swim, or I'd go for a bike ride, or I would have lunch or with my wife, or I'd go and see mates, or I would do something predominantly from a selfish perspective. Now obviously being selfish to be selfless. What has switched for me is I've got a couple of ideas about how I can actually, having filled my own cup up a little bit, I can now do stuff for other people. So I've got in touch with a couple of charities that need, I can't necessarily commit to it every Friday, but certainly on the odd occasion when I'm free, I can rock up and help other people. And so I'll be reporting more on that in the coming weeks, depending on what happens. So that was a really good thing about that. And the fourth little insight that I got, which again I would never have gotten had I not done this, was I went for a swim at our local pool in Sydney, and I was really surprised. It was the middle of the day, and I was really surprised about how many dads were there with kids. Pleasantly surprised, I have to say. That's great, and maybe because of it's COVID, but I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe there's been a little bit of a turn, that there's a kind of dual parenting, a dual mum and dad situation going on, where it's okay for dads to take some time out in the middle of the day and take the kids for a swim. I hope that's a good sign of things to come. So that's it for me. Episode number 4. I'll see you next week. Cheers.